Hello, welcome everybody again, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Richard Salt for his interview. How long overdue is this? You're one of the founding arrangers of ChoirCommunity, and this
Yeah,
is the first time we've done an interview with you, so I do apologise for taking ages to get round to this. But hello, how are you?
I'm very well. Yeah, I'm proud to be one of the founding arrangers as well. That's great.
Yeah, and you've got some quality stuff on there. I think we've got about to get some new stuff on there as well, which is all very exciting. But anyway, I'm going to ask you about all sorts of things, mainly about your musical life, if that's okay.
Okay.
And because people want to know what makes you tick musically and what interests you and how you come to arrange stuff the way you do. So please, can you delve right back and give us one of your earliest awarenesses of music? So right back to when you were the youngest impression you had of music, have an impression on your life.
I suppose it was infant school, and we were all given recorders, which is something I now inflict on other small people.
No, pass it on.
But I actually enjoyed it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I must have, because I have these memories of being asked to play solos and being asked to play in concerts and things, and also being given a clarinet, which it wasn't my choice, but I really took to it, and I think it all went from there. And quite quickly, I also realised that it was playing with others. It wasn't just playing solos. It was playing in little groups. We had a little scratchy school orchestra, and it was those kind of formative experiences that really got me into making music with others. Yeah.
Okay, so it was recorder first and then onto clarinet. So playing an instrument rather than actual singing.
Yeah, I mean, I always enjoyed singing, though. I do remember enjoying singing as well at primary school when all those around me appeared not to. It was something that I also really enjoyed. And at secondary school, I really wanted to be in a choir, which again I don't think was very common in my school. But I always enjoyed singing bass lines as well when my voice broke.
Okay, well, you're racing ahead there. I'm going to pull you back a little bit.
Sure.
Can you remember the first music that you owned? And was it on a cassette or vinyl or something? What was the first
Yeah,
music you owned
yeah.
yourself that belonged to you?
I think because I'm from the cassette era of the 80s. Yeah, and I think it was a Best of Madness. I think it was the Best of Madness. It was called Complete Madness.
Very good.
And because I think that was the first thing that I owned, that it wasn't something my parents liked, and
Very important.
and what yeah. So that's my memory of that, and I liked it because of the saxophone solos, and it actually made me want a saxophone.
Did you graduate from clarinet to saxophone eventually?
Yes. So later in my teens, I was lucky enough to be bought a saxophone, and that became an important part of my life from there. Yes.
Excellent. So have you graduated through all the sax? Have you done alto, tenor, soprano, baritone? Are you one of those people that do them all?
I've certainly played them all, but I don't own them all. That would be nice.
And you ended up playing in a big band, presumably, and doing all the
I've
jazz?
played in swing bands and big bands, which is thoroughly brilliant. It's the same sort of intuitive feel as a choir, because you have to get those rhythms perfect, and which I really, really like. It's not just about reading the music. It's a real intuitive thing, that. So yeah, and I enjoy the baritone sax. The love of the bass comes into that as well.
Of course. Right, let's keep. I'm keeping back now to your childhood. Was there a record that your dad or mum owned that they played that made an impression on you, that you thought, oh, I like that? Or was it all stuff?
Yeah.
No, don't like any of their stuff. I'm going to get my own.
No, I was heavily influenced by what my parents liked. I think it was the Queen and the ABBA
Right.
overload that influenced me a lot. I was a bit embarrassed to like ABBA actually during the 80s, but later on I was able to admit that. But Queen was a massive, massive influence, and when my parents stopped buying Queen albums. I carried on buying Queen albums into the 80s, and yeah, so those are my two big influences probably.
Yeah, I think yes. So I was a bit. I remember listening to Queen a lot on the radio. I think I was listening to Radio One when they played Seven Seas of Rhye for the first time.
Wow.
I think it blew me, slightly sideways.
Yeah,
My initial, I don't you don't want to know about this, but T-Rex was my first mind-blowing experience on radio, listening to 20th Century Boy.
yeah,
But I'm a bit older than you. I think I've sort of perhaps a few years ahead. On
yeah,
that was 19, I think 71 or two. So
yeah,
really. So ABBA, Queen. Was there anything classical that
yeah.
made an
Well,
impression?
my mum was the one who listened to classical, and she was really into Mendelssohn, Dvorak, that sort of composer, and that seeped in. My mum was a piano teacher as well, so in my very formative years, she would teach piano, and
At home.
yeah, at home. And I remember sitting under the piano because it was a mini grand,
Wow.
so you could sit underneath these things, and that those are one of well, I feel that's one of my early memories. Whether it's just something I've invented, but it feels like an early memory. It's the sitting under the piano, hearing Chopin, and my mum playing Chopin and things like trying Brahms, but her hands weren't big enough for Brahms. So those things seeped into me, and I loved exploring classical music from sort of mid-teens. Yes.
Yes. So you have to name now one really inspirational, influential teacher. Maybe in each of your schools, was there one person in your primary school that encouraged you and inspired you musically, and then maybe later on in your secondary school as well?
I'll go with Mrs. Rowley, who was the teacher who handed me the recorder,
Yeah.
and I can still picture her. So I would have been 7 or 8 then, and she was also the one who told me about the clarinet.
Right.
And at
Was
my
she the
second,
equivalent of Eddie Izzard's Mrs. Badcrumble? Or was she, you heard that? Or was she very nice and encouraging?
do you know what? Speaking to one or two of my friends who were at school with me, everyone thought Mrs. Rowley was fearsome, but that's not my memory of her. She was encouraging, and I don't know. She saw something musical in me, so yeah, that's one of those formative memories.
It's going to help a lot, isn't it? If the person who's encouraging you is warm and encouraging to you and positive, rather than the
Yeah,
other way around, it is going to probably it could formulate your career, even at that early age.
yeah.
You never know. So that's exciting. And what about secondary school? Was there somebody who picked it up and took you further on to higher levels?
Well, I went to a boys' school, and music was it was a very sporty school, and I'm not sure how much respect you got for being a musician, and it kind of separated me. So there was quite a niche group of people, and my teacher was incredibly supportive. He's called David Brooks. He always appeared to be fighting to get music heard in the school. You always got that impression that he was having to punch above his weight a little bit to create big concerts, but he did. And yeah, he really influenced me and encouraged me through my secondary school years. Yes.
Did he arrange music for the ensembles and that sort of thing? Was that something you were aware of at that age?
No, actually, it was quite a small orchestra, but we did quite traditional stuff. We played Vaughan Williams a lot, and that sort of music, and the choir as well. He went for quite a traditional approach. We would sing Holst and sort of quite traditional English stuff, but it appealed to me definitely.
So seeing as you're now, an arranger, we've done lots and lots of arranging. At that age, were you aware of the construction of music and the composition of it? And were you inquisitive about what
Yeah.
made things sound a certain way?
I must have been, mustn't I? Because I mean, it was slightly forced upon me in that we were in a choir from a very young age, sort of 16, 17, and we couldn't afford music, and so I started arranging music. but at the same time, I was doing A-level music and actually enjoying the whole Bach chorale experience and having
Wow,
to.
that's yes. I mean, I did a little bit of that, and there weren't
Yeah.
many in the class that enjoyed that, I have to say.
No, I don't know why, but I've always enjoyed that, and it's I know that's unusual. I like the theory side of things, and I like the rules, and I like things to work, and I applied those rules to pop songs, and that's where it started really.
Well, perhaps that was your, part of your love of ABBA was because a lot of their basis is very classical, isn't it? They have bass lines, they have counterpoint, they have
Yeah,
harmony, they have modulations and all sorts of things that are very
yeah,
classical, but in a
yeah,
pop style. They managed to bridge that. So I'm
yeah.
sure there's no shame in loving that.
No, I agree now.
So you, okay, your very first composition, what was that?
Well, do you mean arrangements?
I guess arrangement. Yes, if you went into sort of composing original stuff, you said you were arranging, during
Yeah.
your A-level years. What was the first thing you tackled, and did you perform
Um,
it?
John Lennon. I think it was John Lennon's "Woman." I think was the first thing I arranged properly for choir. That's the first one I remember. So there might have been ones before that, but that's the first one that a choir actually. I remember the choir we were in, Notorious, and we used that and sung it in a concert. And I realised that worked, and it was. I got really proud of that as well.
Okay, was that a good feeling hearing your creation actually being
Yeah.
performed around you? You one of the basses then when you're singing when you
Yes. Yes. I've generally been a bass. That's where my voice lies, and unless we're really short of tenors.
Oh, so that sounds great. I know about the Notorious choir. So how did Notorious come about in the first place? What was the sort of sparking point for the creation of that choir?
Well, Claire Edwards was definitely the spark for that. I mean, so I'd known her since school age, and she set up a choir at her sixth form college
Right.
called Gloriana, and um, and that sort of reflects her love of Benjamin Britten. So we were doing that sort of thing. I must have arranged something for that choir as well, but I can't remember. I'm very sorry. But that's when we went to university. We were both at Sheffield, um, and that's when she realised there was a real need for choirs. There was obviously a university choir, but she wanted to set up a choir that was more a chamber choir and non-audition and non-threatening, as the music department choirs were a bit threatening actually. So I would have started to arrange pop music there. And sorry, get my facts mixed up. That was called Gloriana when we were in Sheffield, and then Notorious was set up a couple of years after we arrived back in Birmingham, and it was actually old school friends and people who were in that original choir at sixth form college, and then it grew. And Claire's always found there's a need for community choirs.
Yes. So a real bunch of old friends. So it's a really important social aspect of the choir as well.
Yeah, yeah,
The thing I love and I recognise about that, you have unusual, I think, amazing ambitions about the music. So a lot of it is 8-part. You have people doing beatboxing. You have people improvising instruments and stuff while you're singing.
yeah.
And it's quite ambitious. It's a little bit more than maybe some people would think of as a community choir. Have you always felt it was a little bit different, a bit special?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I mean that level just came about because that's what the choir coped with,
Yeah.
And Claire would always challenge me as well to do something more. And I mean, certainly it wasn't 8 parts to start with. There's that early arrangement of John Lennon's "Woman" was probably 3 parts or 4.
Yes.
And it was handwritten as well, so goodness knows where that is now. But I mean, the initial choir was only, I think it was single figures. So it grew and grew, and it's hovered between 30 and 40 in recent years, and so that allows for doubling up, and it allows for you hear those extra lines, and you think, yeah, I want upper tenors to do that, and it made perfect sense at the time.
So, looking at all your arrangements that you've done, haven't got all of them on ChoirCommunity by any means. I wish we had more. We'll keep putting them on. Which one? Let's mention a couple of your favourite arrangements that you've done, and maybe why. Particularly.
Sometimes it's the unexpected. So we did Radiohead's Paranoid Android.
Yeah.
And for some reason it really worked. Well, I know why it really worked, because it's a song that has 3 sections. One of them sounds like a hymn. Other bits are bold and homophonic. Other bits are polyphonic and weave in and out. So it's got everything in one song. Plus, everyone of my age has a sort of love for that song, because it came out at a time and it was a real mind-blowing song. And it just really worked for choir. We performed it many times in Notorious in different settings.
And then you went on to arrange Creep, didn't you? Which we do have, I think.
Yes. Yeah, that came
Paranoid
later.
Android on the website. Is it on there?
No, there was I think there's a problem getting that one published.
There's a copyright issue on that one. Oh, right. Okay. There you go. You see. Look
but
at
yeah, Creep.
all that work, and it's got to stay in a drawer. So,
Yeah.
Very good band, and very very, very unusual and effective, and an arresting moment in any concert, I would imagine. The audience enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Radiohead. Can you contrast that with something else that's a bit different that you?
Yeah, the Daft Punk song "Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger." I hope I've got the words in the right order. That one is just going onto the ChoirCommunity website.
It's about to come out, yeah.
And yes, it features beatboxing, and it weirdly works. And I'm really enjoying the learning track. I think it's thoroughly amazing. But I mean, that song, when I was asked to do it, I don't know. I didn't think it would work quite as well as it did, but it just seems to work really well.
Yeah, I wonder whether we got a little bit that we could have a little. Is the beginning? Not a lot of words yet, are there? You wrote lots of gins and dins and dons. Well, people can go on the website very soon and actually hear that for themselves.
Yeah,
that's great. It kind of represents the record quite a lot. Not fully, but it's like a version of the record. Which is that what part of your approach to arranging these iconic songs?
Actually, it has turned out to be. Yeah, I try and pick up on as much of the detail as I can, the little nuances, the sounds that. So that it often involves slightly strange vocal sounds, but I mean, what I love about that it's got those little portamento slides, and it's got percussive consonants and. Everything's in there. It's a really and as you say, very few actual lyrics. So which is why I didn't think it would work, but it really does.
That's great. And so tell me, is there anything you're working on now that you're excited about? Anything you're arranging now that we can look forward to in the next year while we remain? We need more things to sing while we're stuck at home.
We do, don't we? I'm open to offers for sure. I've got things, as you say, in the cupboard on the shelf, but I'm also open to what would work.
Is there anything you've got that's halfway through that you?
No, at the minute I haven't got any ongoing projects, and I miss it.
That probably says that's probably good. That means you probably finish the things you start.
Yes.
Yes, that's a very good. Yeah. Being a teacher, I think you have to be organised like that, don't you?
Yes.
You're a completer finisher sort of person.
Yeah, everything looks very different at the moment, doesn't it? So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to arrange some more things when life gets back to normal.
Well, can you tell us now how you got involved in ChoirCommunity? What attracted you to being involved in ChoirCommunity? First place.
it's a love of arranging music. I've never arranged music just because I had to. I've always enjoyed it, and I suppose I wanted songs that were sung by one choir to be sung by others as well. I did want to spread that, definitely.
And I think with me as well, there was that the fact we had to do something official to get over this barrier of not being able to publish things that belong to other people.
Yeah,
But I think that was the thing, to clubbing together and making a real effort to get to the publishers and say, look, we're serious about this. You know, can you help us, rather than putting up barriers all the time?
yes, absolutely.
Maybe removing that from that fear of that grey area that people have about, oh, am I allowed to do this or am I not?
Yeah,
So we're gathering new arrangers all the time, which is very, very exciting.
yeah,
We've got some new people about to join, and we've got some new arrangers who are applying all the time.
yeah.
So yes, so I have that question about your approach to arranging, which came out of a previous conversation we had. Is there any other approach to arranging that you found you've formed over the years?
I mean, no, I suppose it's just, as I said, it's those the theory side, the technical side, which I enjoy. I enjoy making sure that it works in terms of, I remember the stuff about not doubling the third and not having parallel fifths, and I've been quite keen to do that. And it's also quite fun to break that rule when a song clearly does that in a pop song. So it's that, and yeah, I've always enjoyed the attention to detail. I don't like missing little bits out, so I'll create another part so that someone can sing a little detail. So it's that combination of things.
Well, it's great that you're here, and thank you for answering all those questions.
Sure.
People will be interested in now going onto the choir community and finding out how all your stuff sounds and looks, and hopefully you'll get some more interest in the next few weeks and months.
I do hope.
And keep writing, and we look forward to all your other arrangements as well, Richard. It's great to have you on board.
Thank you ever so much. I'm proud to be.
Okay, speak to you soon. Take care.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.